Hey everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to Our Life is a Honeymoon. This is episode number 13.
Lucky number 13.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about how sometimes in life we can make plans and we can plan really hard and think everything's going to be wonderful, and sometimes it just doesn't go as we expected. So this episode is about finding the grace when things don't go the way you thought they'd go. So stick around to hear more. The universe brought us together.
That we know.
And together, we want to share that story with you.
As well as all of the practices we do to keep our relationship thriving.
Because to us, it feels like our life is a honeymoon.
We want that same joy for all of you. I'm Tim.
I'm Amy, and this is our podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to Our Life is a Honeymoon. Before we get started in today's episode, we just wanted to let you know about a little change that we're having with our podcast. As newbies to the podcasting world, we realize it's a lot of work. It's a heck of a lot of work. And we really want to put out some great content, but we don't want to do it in a way that stresses us out in any way, because we really believe in self-care. So we have decided that we will be releasing episodes every other Tuesday instead of every Tuesday. We are planning our wedding this year, and we just want to balance life. So we thought every other week would be something that was a little bit more achievable for us. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So on today's episode, we like this one. This one's kind of a funny story. Back in 2024, June, my darling daughter, Star, had just graduated from high school. Yay, Star. And I said, okay, honey, pick a trip anywhere. Well, first she chose Bali, but then I saw how much that was, and that was not where we went. But
I think she also wanted somewhere in Mexico, and then we realized that wasn't very safe. Tulum, I think.
Well, I think Tulum would have been safe, but there's a lot of unrest in the world. So anywho, at the end of the day, we ended up going, that's hilarious. We ended up going to safe Costa Rica. Well, so we had a great trip. There were a couple times we almost died. Things didn't quite go as planned, but we really learned to kind of shift and roll with the punches so that I think we still had a pretty good trip. We have a lot of great memories. I'm still a little traumatized, but at the end of the day, this episode is just about just finding grace for yourself in the situation when things don't go as planned.
Yes. There were ups and downs. There were things that we lived through that, as we talk about it, it doesn't even seem real.
No.
But yeah, so I guess I'll start the story here. We land, and we have a 4-hour drive in between where we land and where we're staying. And so this is like a crash course in Costa Rica, just driving, I guess. So after probably not even I think I drove to the
restaurant.
I drove to the restaurant.
Halfway.
Maybe
I
even,
think, and more.
I think we yeah. So
Started to get more rural after we ate.
I was excited to drive in a new world, and as we're driving, I'm just noticing that the children are kind of bickering in the back a lot. I'm not really understanding the way the roads work, and it just kind of was becoming overwhelming for me. And eventually, I passed the torch to Amy and realized, I'm like I throw my hands up, like this isn't feeling right for me. And Amy, as a skilled parent and also driver,
Thank you.
She was also, I feel like, more well equipped, and I saw that, and I said, let's just do this.
Yeah. And for people that are just listening to our podcast for the first time or don't know us, so I have 2 children from a previous marriage, Star and Phoenix. Star is 19 now, Phoenix is 16, so that was two years ago. So 17 and what's that, 14? Yeah. Well, they were still bickering. Those of you with young kids, it doesn't stop. It's all good though. So anyway, I do want to pause before we keep going with the story and reflect on one thing. So we had a situation where you were starting to get stressed, which could in turn make me a little bit stressed, but we realized, let's just make a shift. And there could be some old school couples that maybe believe in gender roles and the guy is always the driver. And if we were stuck on something like that, we would have just sat there in misery, and we probably tempers would have gotten raised, and it would have been a terrible beginning of the trip. But instead, we made a shift, and it was peaceful for the rest of that experience until we got to the next experience. So we, after a nice long drive, and I thought it was fun. The roads there are just really narrow and really turny. Oh my God. And so we rented an SUV hoping for the best. This SUV had like 0 horsepower.
Like pony power.
It was like the worst. And it was really hilly where we were staying. And it was like, you were like, oh my God, I'm going to start rolling backwards.
Make it?
It was just terrible. Oh my God. Oh,
it was like the one place should not have that kind of car. And
no, and it was like the
tourist car. I think.
Yeah, the rental car place, it was just full of them. What was it?
Some sort of prank.
Toyota something? I don't know. But it was like the one that is not here in the States. Yeah. But anywho, so we get to the Airbnb. We met our hostess. She was wonderful. The Airbnb was gorgeous. It's on the upper level. She had a little apartment downstairs. And ironically, she was leaving to come to Florida to see the Rolling Stones in Orlando. So the whole week we were there alone, and she was where we live, which is very strange.
She could have stayed here.
Well, she could have. Yeah, she really could have. Could have been a free trade. But anyways, the Airbnb was absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like a U shape, and so all the windows in the inside of the U, it was all huge sliders looking out to a beautiful infinity edge pool and the jungle. I specifically picked this Airbnb because it was on the edge of a beautiful nature preserve. And so it was just acres and acres of jungle beyond the property. And it really was magical. We saw macaws and monkeys, and it was great. It was great. So she let us know she had lived there for, I think, 7 years. She had never closed the doors once. You live, you sleep, you go out. Those sliders that are on the inside of the property, they stay open the whole time. So, it was kind of new to us. We, enjoyed settling in. I think we got some groceries that day. And anyway, so we go to bed, and it's kind of weird you're in a different place. There's monkeys. How are they not coming in the house? But they don't. And we're sleeping. And about 3 a.m, this sound out of freaking Jurassic Park, like a dinosaur coming to destroy us, screamed, echoing through the jungle. And I just remember waking up and being like, I don't even know, just like, it was so, like, we're going to die. Like, what prehistoric creature is outside of our door? It was horrifying.
Yep.
Come to find out, it's a howler monkey. I think there should be a disclaimer for anybody that visits Costa Rica or any other country where a howler monkey exists. In the airport, they should say, this cute little monkey has got the sound of death, and don't be afraid when you hear it. So for those of you, can you put an audio clip in the show notes? Is that possible? No. Okay. All you have to do is go on YouTube, people, and type in howler monkey sound and play it. And then just imagine being in the pitch black in a foreign country with your doors wide open and your children and yourself. So it was horrifying, but we made it through the night.
Yeah.
And on to the next day.
Yeah. So we woke up kind of confused after that insanity of a wake-up call in the middle of the night. I can't believe we both fell asleep. I'm pretty sure we both fell back asleep somehow. I don't remember staying
When in
up.
Rome, I don't know. I think we must have been exhausted from that car ride.
The
I don't know.
travel. And so the plan is to go to Manuel Antonio National Park. And so we're driving along and just making our way. I'm still driving at this point. So yeah.
Oh, you got back behind the wheel.
No.
Because I had switched to get us to the house, but probably, you.
I think I drove for the first day or so. Anyway, I'm driving the car, and we're getting closer and closer to this park, and so we have no idea where we're going. I think maybe our GPS isn't really working. Like, I remember we were using Waze, I think, because that's what they told us to use.
They use there. Yeah,
and so it was just, everything was foreign, and we're we're getting closer and closer, and then all of a sudden I see this guy in a like a little construction vest, your standard
A reflector vest.
Yeah, and he's like stands like in the middle of the street, puts his hand up, and Amy's like, I don't know, like I've heard about scams. You might even mention it there.
I had mentioned it before we went.
Yeah, we talked about scams, but you don't know you're getting scammed until it's too late.
I'm sure he was looking for exactly that kind of SUV that
Yeah.
no local would ever drive.
And so I give this guy $20, and there's another guy that's directing us, and we park, and it just felt wrong. And we get out, we see other people parking there, not dealing with this guy, and I found out a couple minutes later I had just been scammed out, or we all had been scammed. It's probably your cash,
Thank you.
because I don't carry cash. But it was just a very off-putting feeling as soon as it's just, as you can see, there's a pattern forming. Just a lot of just kind of interesting situations happening. And at first I was really sad, and Amy's like, you didn't know, you're gonna be okay. And I just had to let it go because just I didn't want to be holding on to like this scam emotion as we're like in this beautiful area walking along. And yeah.
Yeah. So that part did stink. And we had a good mile walk to the park, but it was a magical walk. We got to walk past this bend in the road where all of a sudden you look in the trees and there was a bajillion monkeys over your head, and there were baby monkeys, and we just stood there. I filmed, like it was magic. And we then, I think the little town is Capos there. I don't really remember everything, but we got to walk through the little town and, kind of window shop the little stores as we're walking. And we ended up walking past a restaurant. We must have eaten there on the way back. I don't know, but we liked it so much we went there twice. And had we driven past it, we would have never stopped. So blessings did occur. And, a nice walk in a nice country and a nice little town. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And the park itself was gorgeous. Remember, that's where we saw the first sloth. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely super nice. So we enjoyed our time in the park, and this was Star's photo era. I mean, many years have been part of her photo era now, but she was really into pictures of herself, and she paid Phoenix $50 to be her photographer for the trip. It was a bad deal for Phoenix. Anywho, when you're in Manuel Antonio, there is a beautiful beach, and we all changed into our bathing suits and went swimming. And Star didn't want to mess up her look because she wanted more pictures at the other beach that we parked at. So she just sat on the log while we all splashed around and had fun. And we ended up hiking. Remember we saw those little ants that carried the leaves, and they looked so cool. Yeah, that was awesome. So we eventually get back to the original beach where we parked, and there was a nice tree, and Star was going to climb up in the tree and extend all out and just be an exotic foreign gal. And so she took her pictures, and then she jumped out of the tree onto an open rotten mango that was full of bees and got stung on the foot from a bee. So that went a little bit awry, but you know what? She didn't really complain about it during the trip.
I think she just was like, this happened, and I'm happy I got my pictures.
Probably. Yeah, it was after the photo.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was that day. So I guess I'll keep going. So people, that was an experience, but overall, other than Star's foot and the little scam, small things, the day wasn't ruined. Just a couple minutes, we're off. So we go home. I think, did we cook dinner? We must have, or we ate there, whatever. We were spending the evening in the Airbnb. It's been beautiful weather, and then all of a sudden, this insane storm comes, like out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure we had looked at the weather. We had no clue that this would be happening, and it was intense to the point where it was like 9 o'clock at night. It was pitch black outside, and all of a sudden we just heard bam, this huge sound. That sound was the biggest tree outside falling on our house, on our Airbnb. Now, if this had been in Florida, this house would be cut in two. But it did fall on the primary bedroom, where Tim and I would be sleeping, and it did cause some, you could just see cracking by the ceiling. So anyways, long story short, we didn't feel very safe to sleep in our room that night, and it was very stressful. So we ended up sleeping on the couch and just like, oh my, like, are we going to have to change accommodations? Like it was stressful. So another stressful thing. So our host was so nice and flying to the United States to see the Rolling Stones. And that was the night that the Rolling Stones were playing. And I was like, I can't ruin her experience. I know she must have spent so much money on this. And Tim was like, you got to tell her, you got to tell her, you got to tell her. And finally it was like 10:30. I'm like, okay, fine. And I felt so bad because I knew it would be like the finale of the show, but I messaged her and she was like on top of it. And come to find out, she and her partner, he's an architect and they had built that house. And she was like, wow, I'm so happy to know that, that it held up so well. And I guess that homes there have to be built to earthquake code. So if you had to have a tree fall in a house, we got pretty lucky with that one. So I'm just going to keep going a little bit. So we end up, there was debris, like, because the doors were open. Like, there were tree pieces in the house, and we were sweeping. Side note, my darling Phoenix has a phobia of spiders. Not just like he doesn't like them, like an irrational phobia. So we're cleaning up, and all of a sudden in the primary bedroom next to the slider, I will find a picture and I will post it in our social media. There was this black spider, like this big. It was huge.
For the people that aren't able to see.
I'm sorry. Yes, we're filming this in video. Okay, so it was probably what, like at least 6+ inches from foot to foot. I mean,
like as big as a face.
It was as big as my face. It was huge. And so Tim is vegan, I'm vegetarian. We don't kill things. And so luckily I'm not very afraid of bugs. I think I'm the one that kind of takes over in that respect for the most part.
If they're alive.
Oh, but no, it's lizards. If lizards are injured or dead, I don't want anything to do with it. I will catch alive. So I had to use a broom, and I got the little buddy outside, and I think we shut the doors after that for that night.
Yeah, we didn't tell Phoenix, and then Star.
No, not till the end of the trip.
But then I think Star told us that she told him.
Yeah, well, that Star, that little Star. So, anyways, that's where we.
That ended that night.
Yes.
And so.
Full day one in the books.
And so we sleep, and I don't think the howler monkeys came after us that night. If they did, we were used to it. I don't remember.
No, I think it was only that first night and maybe the last night that we heard them.
Yeah, and so the next day we wake up. Amy has plans that she has her things, and so Phoenix and I, the workers are there. So she hired landscapers or whatever you want to call them to cut down the tree that's resting on the side of the house.
The host hired them.
Oh yeah. And so you hear these chainsaws, these guys walking around, and Phoenix and I, we eat breakfast, and then we end up just going for a walk around the area because Amy and Star have the car, and we're cool with just hanging out nearby and just exploring. Mm-hmm. So Phoenix brings his little soccer ball, and we just head out into the world and just you walk down the road, and end up seeing a lot of really cool houses on like cliffs, and just seeing how people live in that particular area, and it was a very beautiful situation that I'm thinking like might not have happened if that
yeah. You guys probably would have just stayed in the Airbnb and enjoyed the backyard all day.
And then we took a lot of pictures. Just some of my favorite pictures from that trip were on that walk, and just thinking like the fallen tree, like we could have really dwelled on it, but it was just kind of like in the background at that point, and then. Yeah, you can say what you guys did. Yeah.
Well, what was really nice too, what warmed my heart, was the boys picked Star and I flowers on their walk, so we came home to very sweet little bouquets of flowers.
Yeah, so Phoenix was just trying to find every little flower. Which might be against the law to pick all the flowers, but
don't tell on us. So, anyways, as luck, magic, and the universe would have it, Star and I had only one activity that we had pre-booked, I think, right? One activity? No, there were two. That's the next day. But she and I wanted to go horseback riding, just through nature. There was a space where you got to go to a waterfall, and we got to swim under the waterfall. It was really magical. So she and I had actually planned to be gone that day anyway. So, I mean, sorry for these guys, but they had a good time, and we really didn't have to deal with any of the chainsaws or anything. So it really wasn't a problem. And then side note, I mean, we realized that the house was safe and intact. I mean, there was a little damage, but we were able to move back to our bedroom.
Nothing was damaged to the point of even making us really consider leaving after seeing it all.
No, it was even through all of this, it was such a magical location. So I didn't want to leave. I don't think you'd find another place that was so magical. So anywho, that was that day.
Yeah, so the next day,
Boy.
Amy, I think you start this
Oh,
with
yeah.
the photo shoot. Next photo
So
shoot.
as I mentioned, Star has been in her photo era. Now, as a frugal mom, I said, let's not do senior photos, because I knew she's not going to like her stupid senior photos, and life was busy and it was tiring. And so I'm like, well, I'll just take you on a photo shoot when we take our vacation, and wouldn't that be better, photos on location? So she loved that, and it did seem like a good idea. I happened to see through Airbnb that there was a photo shoot option. There was a local photographer, and it was quite affordable, and he seemed like her aesthetic, and so we booked him, and he truly was the sweetest guy. So the next day, we were all going to meet in the morning at a different beach, and we just thought we're meeting at the beach. And so it was all four of us, and the photographer said, I want to take you like a good half-mile plus down the beach, because there's like a very private beach, and it's really beautiful. It sounds like we're going to get murdered, but you know what? He was very smiley, and there still were some people there. So Tim and Phoenix decided they were going to stay put, because what are they going to do? Just watch Star in a photo shoot for an hour? So they were just going to stay put, and then we went and we did that. I obviously wasn't going to send Star alone. We probably should have all stuck together. But anyways,
Yeah.
you know what? We've learned a lot of lessons from this trip.
Yeah, so they're going on their merry way, and Phoenix and I set up camp on the beach, really having a nice time. He has a little soccer ball again, and he's kind of kicking the ball around. I'm just laying on the beach, just enjoying myself. And then maybe like within 20, 30 minutes, Phoenix is like, I'm going to go check on, Amy and Star. And so he goes, and just off he goes. And so maybe like a half an hour later or less, he texts, or you text me or call me like, oh, Phoenix is down here. Come on down. And I'm like, I have all Phoenix's stuff. I have all my stuff. Like he didn't plan on staying. And so I'm like kind of frustrated, but I'm like, all right, let me just pile all this on me and just start trekking. And so I get to this spot where it's like the tide is up, and there's a bunch of rocks, and it's kind of a little bit rockier than I was expecting. All I have are sandals, just regular old sandals. And so I'm like, all right, they did this, I can do it. And I just start climbing over these rocks that seem pretty intense for everyone to have done this already and not said anything. And so then eventually I get towards the end of it, and it's even like it's getting worse, it's getting scarier. And I'm like I think I called and I had you send Phoenix, and so Phoenix grabs all the stuff for me, and I'm like, okay, they did it, I can do it. And so we get there, and then the water is like really intense. Phoenix and I are swimming, so I think the photo shoot's still going on, and these are the strongest waves I've ever experienced in my life. I'm like jumping into them, and they're like throwing us around, but it was safe, but like.
There was a resort, right? This was the beach for a private resort.
Yeah.
So there were other beach goers around us,
Yeah.
and there was a resort, but
I remember these being the strongest waves.
Oh, that's one thing I learned. Not all ocean is the same ocean, and I have a newfound petrifying fear of that ocean.
Yeah, so we spend a little time there, and then it's time to go.
Well, may I pause you for a moment?
Yeah.
We spent a little time there because the photographer is all done, and he goes, okay, you probably have about 2 hours before the tide will come up, and then you really have to leave so that you can make it back. And he did say we could go up, climb this big hill, and then walk on the street to get back to where we parked. But that street, the cars drive so crazy, and there's no space for pedestrians.
no
So I'm
sidewalk.
like, this isn't safe for my kids. And so because I booked him through Airbnb, like I didn't have his text message. Later in the day, when I looked at my phone, and I don't get notifications because who needs that noise? Well, maybe sometimes you do. He had messaged and he said, the tide has come up, you must leave immediately. But we stayed there for like another hour and a half plus.
I don't think it was that long, but it was long enough.
We stayed there for a long time. Side note, the three of us were having the time of our life. Star wanted more pictures. She wanted more pictures at the other end of the beach. So she had her hair, her makeup, you know, in her bathing.
We were going to take more pictures. That was the plan.
Yes. Remember, she wouldn't swim. That was so funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. But she wanted to stay preserved so that she could look good at the other end and do more photos.
I don't remember that part, yeah.
Yeah, that's why she didn't join us swimming.
Yeah, so, all right, time to go, everyone. Let's start heading over. And so the rocks that we had to cross over, I guess I learned this after that the tide just was rising and rising. Between the time I originally showed up and the time they showed up, there was only sand, so they never had to cross over any rocks, really, is what I'm learning.
No, we just walked flat on the beach all the way over.
Yeah, and so now it's like expert level rock climbing.
It's rock, and I need to know, like cliff, like a whole wall, terrible rocks, crazy
Yeah,
ocean.
so we're all of a sudden we're in a situation that is like kind of just getting, it went from like 0 to 100 really fast, and we knew we had to keep going forward. We kind of got to a point where we just had to keep going forward. Everyone is like carrying things. There's towels, there's bags. Everyone has their stuff, and it's overwhelming. And so we're just trying to march ahead, and then it's maybe like in the first few minutes, I get pulled off of a rock. Amy pulls me down. She's trying to like get up off. Like we're all just trying our best, and she kind of pulls me down to push herself up. And then it's like the last we see of her. She just hightails it.
I've apologized to the family many times.
Yeah, it was a panic attack.
It's trauma. Yeah, I'm a fight or flight, and
so
it's a mom fail. That is 100% for sure.
I was able to. I mean, I don't have that big of a fear of water. Like I think I was bleeding at this point already from that fall.
Yeah,
and
you sure were.
And I feel like my sandals were gone. Like my shirt was. It was like just like alarms are going off in my head. It was like that kind of situation, and so Star and Phoenix were like around this corner where I have to kind of go back for them to like grab their stuff and help them up. And so eventually we all kind of like tiptoe really slowly. Like Star's crying, her bag is floating in the water. Phoenix's like bag is wet and his phone is ruined.
Okay, to note, when the waves go out, you can see the rocks. When they come in, they're like waist high and smacking you over. Like, so Star at this point was drenched head to toe with like mascara down her face. Like it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah. So we.
Oh God, this gives me so much anxiety.
We proceed through. We eventually make it to the other end, bloodied and battered, but alive. And I remember we took a picture. Maybe we can find that to add. But it was literally like the picture as soon as we got to safety. I was like happy because I didn't lose anything.
Yes, you did.
I lost nothing of importance.
Yes.
But everyone else really was beat up and damaged. Star was, traumatized in her own way. Phoenix, I don't think he knew it yet, but his phone was broken from the water that got into it.
Permanently.
Yeah, and then Amy, so.
I've abandoned my children and they could have drowned. It was the worst thing I've ever done as mom. It's a very hard story for me. And Tim lost, thank you, honey. He had a brand new shirt that he bought for the trip that didn't make it through, and one of his sandals.
They were all very cheap.
His shoes.
Yeah, they were all very cheap items. And I ended up getting new sandals on that trip that I still wear, I think.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Not worth it in this scenario, but.
And then we, do I talk about the snow cones or do you?
It was just, we were all so traumatized, and Star was like, Can I buy everybody snow cones? There was a snow cone maker guy.
Yeah, like the ice block.
Yeah, like it was so awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like soul healing, if I remember.
it was. It was.
It's like you think you're gonna die, and then all of a sudden there's a snow cone. Like, it was,
Yeah, yeah.
that was a real highlight for me.
Well, that day was like the worst day ever for me, and I have apologized I've had therapy sessions about it, and I am not proud. Something just took over. I don't know how to swim. I think that's what it is. The kids are very good swimmers. Tim's a good swimmer. I don't know how to swim, so I'm like, this is it. I just hightailed it. I did not look back when I got there, and then there were people on the beach looking and saying, two bambinas or whatever, my babies, and I'm like, they're like, loco, like, I was so shamed by the people. But we all got down and there was a sloth in the tree. Remember, we got to see the sloth, and nothing was worth it on that day. It's hard to find the positive on that one. I gotta reset my nervous system right now. But okay, I was a little bit lost in the story. So Star, her whole look was done, so she didn't get the pictures. But Phoenix is, I think, the one who maybe suffered the most because his iPhone was in a bag, and it wasn't in the bag he thought it was in. And I think he tried to keep the bag he was carrying dry, but his iPhone was put in a different bag. Long story short, that iPhone never came back. Like, it was drowned. We couldn't restore it. So he is an eternal optimist, and he loves soccer. So we were back at the Airbnb, and he's like, it's okay. You know what? I have my soccer ball. I'm just going to dribble. I am just going to practice my soccer for the rest of the trip, which is really impressive for a teenager without a cell phone, knowing that you're going to be still on vacation for many days.
I mean, he tried his hardest to fix that phone.
Oh, we got rice. We tried. Yeah. But I mean, he never screamed. He realized it's not going to work, and he transitioned. So that evening we went to the grocery store. And the town that we were in really did feel very, very safe. And there was a soccer field where we could see kids were playing soccer, every time we drove past there. And the kids wanted to stop and play soccer with the local kids. So we're like, okay, like, we're going to just be grocery shop. Like, it sounds weird and bad to drop your kids off in a
Costa Rica
foreign country. But we felt good about it. So we got our groceries. We come back to pick them up. And poor Phoenix just looked so sad. And then he held up, and his soccer ball popped.
In the history of knowing Phoenix, I don't think he's ever popped a ball.
I don't think a ball has ever popped. So it was
I
horrible.
think he kicked it against a wall, and it just popped.
I don't know what happened. It was absolutely horrible. We ended up finding a place I think it was a grocery store that sold soccer balls. It wasn't up to par with the ball he wanted, but he ended up getting another ball for the rest of the trip and a new phone when he got back. So, that day was a real doozy.
Yeah, a lot went wrong.
Yeah, some other stuff went wrong too. I mean, we call this trip the curse of Costa Rica because a lot did happen. For example, another day, I was just brushing my teeth. I was minding my own business. I wasn't bothering anybody. Nothing happened, and a piece of my tooth broke off while I was brushing my teeth.
And that doesn't normally happen.
No, I've never lost a part of a tooth in my life. I had to get a crown when I came back home. And there was another time, one of our first days, when I got a mug out of the assortment of mugs at the Airbnb, decided to make some nice tea, and holding a hot mug, the thing just cracked. It just shattered while I'm holding it. And our dryer broke also during our stay. So
a lot of damp clothes, I remember.
Oh yeah, because it was like, oh my God, it was like 1,000% humidity. I remember, like, I tried to do my hair, and I had to get on day one. I gave up. You could not even. How did Star even wear makeup? I just remember there was so much sweat on my face. I remember I had like a sweat stash the whole time. It wasn't the prettiest trip for sure. But a lot went wrong, but a lot went right. And I might be a little afraid of Costa Rica at this point. But yeah, there was definitely something weird that was going on. But people noted, like, you guys were protected. Like, there was something, with the tree falling on the house and everything.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's a good way to put it. But yeah, we ended up like all these things that were scary at first ended up kind of turning around, and ended up loving the howler monkeys, learned that we need water sandals.
I had said to everybody before the trip, hey guys, we should all buy some water shoes.
She failed to take her own advice.
I failed to take my, because I wanted to buy them as a team, and they're not attractive. If you think they are, they're not.
Well, we still have to get them.
We do. Yes.
Yeah. So
it is something you should own. Everybody should probably
Yeah.
own some water sandals. Lesson learned.
yeah, you can't go wrong.
If you're gonna hike in the water, even if you don't know you're gonna hike in the water.
Well, you just want to walk on a beach in the water without hurting your feet.
Yeah, but would he have even worn them that day? Because I don't think we would have thought that we were going to be doing
Yeah, it was an impromptu. So you're right. I think even if we would have had them, we wouldn't have used them.
Yeah.
They would have been probably back at the Airbnb.
Yeah, that's true. So I did want to bring up one thing too. There were times that were definitely stressful, and another thing that felt a little stressful, not a little, a lot stressful for me, was when you're a mom and you're trying to go on vacation. You just want to have a damn vacation. You want to go on vacation. And when you hear, mom, 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 what are we eating? When are we eating? Mom, 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 where's this? And I started to go a little mental, because the kids were big enough where they could certainly be answering some of these questions. And so I knew that I was going to kind of lose my shit a little bit, and I didn't want to do that. So we created, and Tim was very supportive of, a nervous system reset day for me.
We didn't call it that at the time. But
No, we did not
We knew
call-
looking back, that's what
it was. And everybody left me alone. So for half of a day, I mean, like morning into, I think, mid-afternoon, I got to enjoy the Airbnb, lay on the loungers, look at the jungle, do my crossword puzzle. Nobody was allowed to talk to me, and it was the best day ever. But I mean, sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes you have to stop. I don't know if we had a plan for that day. We probably did, but if everything is going to go through and feel toxic, sometimes you just have to reroute. And I think that taking that half-day break really saved probably all our sanity, because nobody likes mean mommy. She's not nice. And I think that we protected everybody from that version of me coming out.
Yeah. So after telling you guys this story for about 30 minutes, we like to zoom out towards the end of the podcast and talk about why we're even talking about this. And it's overall an arching story of going with the flow, when if we would have tried to fight all these different things that were happening, it would have gotten a lot worse. And so it's like, we see this is happening, and it's like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this. And I guess we're going to go this way. We're going to do that. And like nature or the universe or whatever we had our plans, but the nature and the universe it's like, all right. And so we're not trying to go up against that. And our main takeaway was that this perspective of like there was a lot of suffering. There was a lot of but overall we learned a lot. We learned a lot about traveling. We learned a lot about how to travel as a unit, researching possible scams. You did, but I didn't. But it was, all of those kind of heavy things were just part of the experience. We walked away with great stories, just a lot of great memories, and just closer as a family unit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got to enjoy wonderful fruit, except for bananas. Can you believe, I would think, I have a thing with bananas, and I would think you're in a tropical place, bananas aplenty. Oh, they were brown and bad. But there was some yummy fruit.
The pineapple was really good, I remember.
Yeah, and the papaya. Yeah, the day I went to the fruit stand with the kids, but that's a whole nother story. And we ended up going to some nice restaurants and just enjoying family time. We played a lot of games together. We went swimming in our pool, and we got to see monkeys in the trees in our pool while we're swimming at our Airbnb. So there were definitely some good things. So anyways, question for our listeners. Has there been a time where maybe things didn't go as planned and you were able to shift with grace, or also maybe you didn't shift with grace and that was a learning experience on what not to do? We would love to hear about it. You could email us, you could message us on social media, but we would love to hear about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Okay, So at the end of every podcast, we go into our happily ever after for today, which is just a little game that we usually play so that you guys can get to know us better. And I wanted to share something with you. We have a game and it is called Our Moments. This is the couples edition that we have with us today. There's a family edition as well. And it's just a little deck of cards. And if you are on a road trip with your family or just with your partner, it's a great way to make the time go by. It just kind of asks, a question that is usually pretty interesting, and it's just a way to get to know each other better. So we do not have a pre-planned card.
Before we continue, I want to mention we might start putting links into the show notes about different products that we mention, so you can actually find them yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something
you've
been talking about.
Yeah, definitely. We need to get on that. So, Tim, go ahead and you pick our conversational card. And dear Lord, please let it be.
So I'll read it to you?
Yeah, and then I'll read it back to you. Yeah.
All right. So this could be very open-ended. So we have to think of time before.
Okay, yeah.
What would be the absolute perfect day?
Oh, dear God, what?
What would be the absolute perfect day?
Okay. That is an open-ended question, isn't it? I'm going to say the perfect day that I can think of is the day that we are planning, which is called our wedding. So Tim and I will be getting married in Walt Disney World, and Disney is like our favorite place times a billion. If we could live inside of Disney, I think we both would in a heartbeat. And February 18th, 2027 is our wedding date, and we will be getting married at the wedding pavilion at the Grand Floridian, and our receptions at the Grand Floridian. And I think we're going to be with all the people that we love in Disney getting married. So I think that would be my perfect day. How do you like them apples? I was quick for me.
I can't top that one.
Yeah, Tim, what would your perfect day be? Okay, you're not allowed to say our wedding. So it's like a get out of jail free card. You can say anything. What would be the absolute perfect day, Tim?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Disney because that's where my head went first. It's interesting to just kind of feel like, what's my brain going to do? So it was, I'm going to say just we're waking up on a Saturday at Disney at the Riviera.
Ooh, baby.
And having like an open day, maybe a reservation at the end of the day. So this is a resort day. I'm feeling.
Yeah. Love it.
It's not too hot. It's not too cold.
Oh, yeah.
So we can it's just freedom. It's a freedom day at Disney.
Nothing better than those freedom days at Disney. Let me tell you, we like the theme parks, but at least for me, and I think for both of us, secondary to resort days. Just spending time in the resorts. Just relaxing. We find like these cute little hidden corners, and we just sit and we get to be together and just breathe and enjoy and smell the smells. And
Yeah,
listen to the
Disney has a lot of
sounds.
good smells.
Disney has a lot of good everything, and we love it. So yeah, I think that is the end of our podcast for today.
Yeah, so thank you guys for spending time with us today, episode number 13.
Woo!
You can listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. You can also follow us on our Life is a Honeymoon official on Instagram or Facebook. And again, we would love to hear if this episode resonated with you. So you can email us also at ourlifeisahoneymoonofficial@gmail.com, or you could also message us in the social media. You can leave a review on which one? Apple Podcasts. Can you do it on Spotify? Or
Spotify, you can comment.
you'll just find a way to reach us and you let us know. We'll be looking.
And if you'd like to support us, we have a thing called Buy Us a Mickey Pretzel, and that is through buymeacoffee.com/ourlifeisahoneymoon. And you can subscribe. I think we already talked about all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good. So anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to our funny, stressful, but we made it out A-okay episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.